When you buy real estate, you want to take title in the way that best fits the circumstances. Here to explain how those things work, Ann Rollins, Closings of Tulsa, and different ways to take title. Joint with rider survivorship, LLCs can take title in a property. What does all of this mean, and why should someone care when they're buying real estate?
Most of the time we see husbands and wives take title as joint tenants with right of survivorship, which means the survivor has title to the property if something happens to one of them. Exactly,
just what it says.
That's true. And then another way would be tenants in common, which each party holds a certain percentage of the property. They own a certain percentage.
Like I have 50%, you have 25%, whatever.
Exactly. But what we're seeing a lot of now is families are taking title in a trust, the husband and wife, and this allows them to transfer the property to their children without going through probate.
And probate's very expensive.
It is.
And time-consuming.
That's correct. That's correct. So we are seeing a lot more of that, especially as the parents get older in life, then their children can be trustees of the trust, and it just seems to flow better.
It also gets rid of some of the disputes of what's happening, and one person is appointed as being in charge.
That's correct.
And these tax situations, when it goes through probate, many times you've sat across the table explaining why we have to deal with some probate official in order to release a property, and then you're dealing with the tax implications. So trusts are a great way to handle that. Well, as far as like a corporation or an LLC buying a property, if an LLC buys a property, it's that entity buying. Maybe you're a small investor and you want to have some protection of liability and different tax issues, but you also want to be able to transfer that property around, the ownership or the control of that within an LLC. So how does that work?
Usually there's a member and then there's a manager. The manager is the person that would sign the deed and pretty much manage the LLC. The members are protected, like you said, for liability purposes, but they have an ownership, a certain percentage in the LLC, and that can be bought and sold.
I spoke to a potential client recently who is a brother and sister who own a piece of commercial property, and they're having a little bit of a dispute as to who controls what in the sale. So if they are tenants in common, how does that work? Who has authority over the property?
They would both each have a percentage, 50-50. That would be a tough situation with brother and sister, how they're going to work that out.
It's why we have courts.
That's right.
Well, this really gets to the base of why we even are having this discussion on the show. Is it's very important how you take title, because it determines how the ownership of the property is carried out and who has control. So before you make a decision in buying property, get good counseling as to joint with right of survivorship or tenants in common. How should you be taking title to that property so that it best fits your circumstances? Ann Rollins of Closings of Tulsa, thank you very much. You are watching the future of real estate. Here's a handy seller tip for people selling their homes, but they have children. And what's worse than getting that last-minute call? I want to come see your house in 30 minutes. Well, you've got to gather everything up, clean up the house, and get out, all with the kids and the things that they need. Try this handy tip. Have two laundry baskets. One is to put all the toys in, the things that are played with. Just throw it in one spot. It condenses the clutter, makes your house great, ready to show. You can even throw it in a closet if you need to. Now the other laundry basket has all the necessities you need, maybe more than would fit in a handy carry-on bag. It would have extra diapers, have toys if you needed to go to the park, all the cleanup things that you would need, stuff to entertain the kids. You can leave your house at a moment's notice and have everything in your trunk, just walk right out the door for a great showing and a quick sale. You can find more tips at darryl-baskin.com. If you're shopping for a luxury home and want to sell one, find the best luxury real estate brokers in the area at tulsa-luxurypropertygroup.com. I'm Darryl Baskin. Thanks for being with us today. Buying and selling a home or commercial property, 258-2600, the Baskin Real Estate Specialists at McGraw Realtors.